Let's not wait further. I don't want people to keep on waiting. Thank you so much for joining us today. So today we would be talking about or discussing about the streamlined planning system, which is quite a powerful system for using for your demand planning and supply planning activities. It's quite comprehensive in its features, and that's what I would be showcasing today. In case you have any questions, then please put it on the chat box. I would be able to happy to help you out, answer your queries anytime. So let me give a brief background about Streamline and ourselves first before proceeding for today's webinar. As I said, we would be discussing a Streamline system. So even before say moving to Streamline, uh, I would like to talk about about Anamind first. And we are all about business planning, and we help companies, improve their planning process. And for that, we have three different verticals in place. First one is planning solution. Second one is planning services, and third one is planning education. So these are the three areas, and today I would be showcasing a planning solution as part of our uh, options over here. So in terms of planning solution, we have three different softwares available with us. We have Forecast Pro, we have Streamline, and we have Vanguard. And these all three of the softwares are very comprehensive for the features that they are built for. Forecast Pro, it's an amazingly comprehensive system for demand planning. Streamline, it's very comprehensive in its supply planning capabilities, demand planning capabilities, and MRP planning capabilities. Vanguard is a complete end-to-end planning system for all the planning needs of the company. And over here, I would honestly like to take a pause, and I would like to mention that we have been doing the webinars for quite a long time now. It's more than 2 months since we had been doing the webinar. Initially, we did industry-specific webinars, so people who are interested and want to go, have a review and understand what we discussed in the those webinars. Those were really awesome videos where a lot of experts from the industry came together, discussed about the challenges and the opportunities of the COVID during the COVID situation in the particular industry, be it in chemical paints, be it in pharma and healthcare, be it in food and beverage, be it in automotive industry. So we covered all the possible industries that are there, just to understand how different industries are going to behave in this situation. And last week we completed a webinar for Forecast Pro. Uh, in fact, yesterday we had a session for a small discussion on one of the key feature where we discussed how various events, and especially the events like COVID, which are one time in nature, how we can correct them using Forecast Pro. And what are the various approaches for, say, incorporating different events in our product lines. So now coming to Streamline, as I said, it's quite a comprehensive system. It's from a company called GmbH Streamline. We are their partners for the India and APAC, and we have been, quite amazed to see the benefits and the features of Streamline system, and that's the reason we went ahead with it. It's key feature, it's the accurate demand forecast. There's the forecast approval system, revenue planning, projected inventory levels, order planning, and the alerts and the inventory optimization. These are very quick and easy to use features in the software, unlike a lot of other systems out there. In terms of streamlined key features, you can connect to multiple data sets directly, your own company data set directly. You can forecast demand, plan your future activities, and all this planning activity honestly relates to a reduction in the inventory, excess inventory level, and an increase in the profitability because it's impacted by decrease of my inventory, excess inventory, and decrease of my stockouts as well, which are really key critical features of my planning process. um, why do people love Streamline? It's very easy to use. It processes the data very quickly, unlike any other system. The forecast accuracy is quite amazing. The flexibility that the system provides in terms of weekly or monthly bucket, it's quite amazing. It helps us automate the process, and it's at a very cost effective price as well. I'll quickly just talk about Streamline, its global presence over here. I'll not, just way too much here. I think I should now move to the Streamline system for which we have, gathered today. Let's discuss the Streamline software. So this is the screen that you see now. It's a Streamline system. It's the dashboard page of the desktop version of Streamline. You can see over here the dashboard is quite customizable. So what are the options that we want to see over here? We can see right now for our exercise, I wanted to see how my inventory is placed, whether it is increasing or is it decreasing basis my previous period, or we can go to the settings and specify whether we want to check it basis the start date or basis last year, how it is. So that is all up to us. We can check that. We are seeing that there's a reduction, constant reduction in my overstock value. There's a constant reduction in my stock out value as well. There's a reduction in my non-moving inventory value. There's a unfortunately, in this case, the turnover is also reducing compared to my previous period, but definitely it's better than my, at the start of my period, start of this system setup. Then again, we can have a look at our gross margin, annual revenue, purchase value. So in one gist, I get a picture of my entire supply planning key parameters over here. And then we can say move to the demand forecasting part over here. So I'm going to take dummy example over here, and let's what we have done. We have created a example of a company which is into say 4 different divisions. It is into consumer goods. It sells fashion apparel product. It also sells food and beverage and other pharmacies. Similarly, we can have chemical products over here or paints product over here, and system for system it would not matter too much. So let's see how it is going to look like for the food and beverage segment. So within food and beverage segment, we have a couple of different instances. We have some beer cans which are there. Then we have chocolates. We have a lot of other products as well. So we can classify, segment our data the way we want. So that's very useful in this system, that we are able to not only generate the forecast, but also analyze the data, say at different levels or at different by different locations. So I can group the data first by location and then by item, or I can just have a look at the item first. So that way system is quite flexible. In this case, I've selected, say for example, this particular item. So there's a product in the West region. It's the dark beer in the West region as part of my product portfolio, which I am reviewing at the moment. So over here, I've selected the item, and as you can see, the graph, as I would move, it would constantly change basis the item that I've selected. So it's very flexible over here. So what the system is honestly doing in the backend, it's taking my actual sales data. So it's taking my last more than 2 years of data, or it's 2 years of historical sales data, actual sales data, and it is generating the forecast. So the red color line is my forecast. The blue color line is, what in simple terms, that what the system would have projected basis this actual sales data in these months, in the previous months. So that is what the system is also projecting over here. So by default, what the system do, it uses an automatic selection to determine what model fits the data best. So it has a lot of rules, logics, and algorithm in the backend, which helps in automatically determining the model, the best fit model in this case. And you can also see that over here the actual sales is 0, and system is detecting them as outliers. So we can choose whether we want to correct these outliers or whether we want to say leave them as it is. So system is going to say if we tell the system that this is an outlier even period, do not consider this data, so it will just ignore the data point and then generate the forecast as if there was no without this data point, and our forecast would change. Or we can say change the model. In this case is if we go to the model detail, it's a seasonal model that has been detected, and we can see the MAPE is 6.1%, which is quite good. It's not bad. So that way our model looks like to be very accurate. So we have a whole list of options over here. Apart from say model selection, it allows me to use say model for my new product. So in case we have certain new product introduction, uh, not in this case, maybe in some other case we have certain new product which we had introduced. So what we can do, for example, say a product was being sold in West and now we want to introduce in East as well. So we can just copy the item to clipboard, and we can then just use the model from an existing item. And when I do that, my data would change. Fortunately, in this particular product, we have the uh, the data for quite a long time since the product is not new, so system is not kind of considering it much, but we can make use of these multipliers where we can increase or decrease the forecast the way we want, and it will automatically adjust the forecast as you see here. So that is another feature which is available in the system. Apart from that, we can use the promotions. I'll not get into much detail of promotions because that's honestly quite a diverse segment over here. However, what I want to focus on is in this screen where we can see the actual sales, the statistical number automatically generated by the models in the backend by the system. Then there is an option for forecast override. So if we want, say, to have if we want to make changes to the forecast, we have this information that there was certain event which is going to impact the West region over here, and we know it's not a very good event and it's going to impact our sales negatively. So we want to reduce the forecast number. That's what our marketing team had come and informed us. So I'm going to just reduce the number, and automatically my forecast over here has reduced to 55. And the another thing that to note over here is, so this is this is not just a pure unit projections. We can also look at how it would translate to revenue. So we can say upload the average sales price of the product. In this case, the average sales price is 40, and the revenue over here automatically, if you just multiply 55 by 40, it's 2200. And this value, it's not just available at say the West region. I can club all the items and see how much revenue would it translate to, how many units would it translate to at the total level. I can make changes at this level as well. I can make changes over here and say that the forecast is going to be for 2400, so it's going to round up correctly, and it will tell me how much the revenue would be. So that's how we honestly can very easily, as you would have seen, we had very easily done this process where we can make changes at any level, and it would be say disaggregated to all the items which are impacted by that product line automatically. So we have that, and we can also then look at the stock on hand. And the very interesting feature over here that stock on hand is not just used for my future supply planning calculation, but it is also being used by the system to determine, uh, say, situations that lead to stock out. So, were there any time period where the sales did not happen because of stock out? So it's determining how many stock out days were there. So in this case, we had zero stock on hand. And we also see the stock out days. The stock out days is stock out days that are determined by the system for the month of April. It's 30, and it's automatically determined. So it's doing those calculations in the back end to determine how many number of periods were stocked out because there was no stock for this month. And we can tell the system that my zeros are lost sales, so please keep that into consideration. Or we can tell the system that no, my sales are not lost, I might have recovered in the next month. So depends on how we would want to say look at our business scenario, and automatically the changes would happen. So we can use that information to correct the forecast further. So as you can see, we have the on-hand days over here. We have 101 units of stock on hand. We can also then look at the projected inventory level. So it's automatically projected by the system, the inventories that we need to maintain to be able to meet the requirement. So this is my demand planning sheet, and I'll quickly now move to the inventory planning part over here. And I must tell you that there are a whole lot of options that I might not have covered right now, due to the time constraint that we have. But we would definitely focus quite a lot on the inventory planning, which is really the very good option over here. It's very comprehensive in terms of the kind of parameters that we can use for our supply planning calculation. So the way we had set up the system is that we have two locations. One is east and one is west. And these are supplied through our distribution center that we have. The west region and the east region are being supplied by my distribution center. So over here, it's going to list all the products that I have. It is also going to list the stock on hand that I'm maintaining. So over here, I can see the stock on hand. It's automatically telling me that how many days of supply would this stock on hand would translate to. So in this case, I have 155 units of stock on hand, and I have a days of supply of 45 days. So this is automatically being determined by the system basis our forward forecast. So if you go over here, I have a forecast of 113 in the month of Jan and 138 in the month of February. So based on the forward forecast, it's trying to determine for how many days my current stock is going to last. So it's automatically determining. Then we have an option over here of to shipment. So to shipment basically tells me are there any amount that I need to ship to my customer? Is there any confirmed order that I need to ship to my customer? So that can be taken into consideration over here. In this case, we do not have any confirmed orders at the moment. That's why it's showing zero. But in case you have this information, then you would be easily able to accommodate this feature as well. We have a receivable. So are there any in-transit stock that we are going to receive? So in that case, that would be shown over here. So we can see we have 360 units arriving on Feb 1st, and we would have 240 units arriving again on Feb 1st for these two products in the two different locations. We can then tell the system what is our lead time. By default, the system takes say 30 days of lead time value, but we can define that lead time value for our product lines. Maybe for different product categories, the lead times are different. For certain locations, the lead time is different because it takes some time for the product. to arrive in one location compared to another location which is not so remote. So that can be considered. In case we want to change, we can quickly make a change. Say for this particular item, it's only 25 days. Maybe for this particular item, it's 15 days. Not a big number. Or maybe this is 45 days. So we can see that once I'm changing the lead times over here, system is automatically changing the shades of my on-hand stock. So the green represents that I have sufficient stock. The red represents that I might be going towards stock out. So in case I say make a change to 15 days over here, it has turned green. So that's how very agile the system is in terms of giving me the real picture of my data. It's very easy to do and very quick to understand this information. We then can look at my order cycle. So depends, we can have different strategies over here. Do we want to order on a monthly basis? Do we want to order only once a month? Or do we want to order 4 times a month in case we are planning on a monthly basis? We can also plan on a weekly basis. In those circumstances, the ordering cycle would be weeks rather than months. So we can choose whether we want to say order on a monthly basis, and basis this ordering cycle, my quantity that I need to order now would get impacted basis on the amount of on hand stock do I have and also on my forward forecast. That's really a very critical information that I would get as a user to be able to play with my planning process. Then I can also look at the minimum lot amount in case we have certain specifications, certain guidelines that we need to follow in terms of what should be our minimum lot amount. Then we can have the MOQs over here. My in this case, it's 100 for few item, and that's the reason you would notice that the amount that we are going to order is not less than 100, 100 or above. We then have say a rounding amount. Rounding amount depicts that once beyond minimum lot amount, beyond my MOQ, what uh, you know uh, batch quantity can I order further? So this is my further in say after 10, I can just add 10 more, and that's the reason I can see 130 units over here as my ordering quantity. And I'll get to this part in a bit because I have to really discuss this key amazing feature over here, which is my safety stock, because calculating safety stock and the right safety stock is really a challenge, in general terms, because there are different product items which are there which behave differently. And over here we have different strategies in place. For example, we can tell the system that I as a user want to have a service level of 98%, and in order to meet this 98% of service level, I need to maintain certain safety stock. So if I'm going to maintain a safe service level of 98%, then what should be the safety stock that I need to maintain? We can have this kind of strategy, which is quite effective because it directly translates to the kind of service that I'm providing to my customers. Or I can tell the system that use my future demand as the basis for my safety stock, that I want to have minimum 1 month of my future demand as my safety stock. So I can choose to use that, or I can make a strategy over here that the maximum of these two becomes my safety stock. So if my service level of 98% is translating to say 10 units of safety stock, and my demand for future is translating to 100 units of safety stock, then system is automatically going to consider the maximum of two, and that is say demand, which is 100 unit in this case. I can click OK, and you would notice that my safety stock would automatically change. So earlier it was a 5 unit for this particular product, but now it is changed to 135. So that's how it is very easy and important to use such system which can assist the planner in taking the actions very quickly, and also try to determine, very easily without much assumption on Excel. These are tried and tested formulas developed across the time period to support the planning process. We can also then look at the replenishment strategy. You can see it's a periodic. There are two strategies over here, and it's really interesting to understand these strategy. Do we want to maintain a periodic strategy, which means that we are going to say keep on ordering at a fixed time period in my planning cycle? Do we want to order once a month? Do we want to follow a replenishment strategy of twice a month or thrice a month? Or do we want to have a min-max strategy so that we do not go stock out, and system is going to trigger orders whenever my current on-hand stock reaches the minimum amount. So I can quickly say, in this case, automatically, just select the min-max strategy, and when I do that, it's going to give me my you know further information, which is let me turn that on for you guys. Replenishment parameter, minimum lot, maximum lot. I can have a service level. I can choose to activate and deactivate whatever columns that I want to have it over here, or hide it. That all depends on me. I want to have a reorder point and a maximum inventory strategy. So over here it tells me that my reorder point is 211, before which we are not going to place an order, or in this case it's 91, and the maximum inventory that I can keep is 322. So automatically that would be taken into consideration by the system. I'm going to move back to periodic strategy for now, just for this calculation over here. We have the safety stock, service level, safety stock period, and then safety stock over here, and our the further ordering amount, ordering quantity over here. Just before say showing the rest of the part over here, I can also tell you that it's really easy to make any changes to the system. Say for example, we want to make change to our safety stock. So instead of 135, we want to keep only 125 as our safety stock. So would notice this number over here has changed to blue, which indicates that there has been a change that I had made. And similarly, you can see the blue color number over here. So we can keep a track record of all the changes that we make in the data in the system accordingly. We can also say export these parameters and make changes to the parameters in Excel. We are really comfortable using Excel, so we also have that flexibility to say make changes to my values over here. Say in case my receivables are 100 for this particular item, and the delivery date is the first, 10th of Feb 2019, and say I've made this change. I can also say look at my shelf life in case the products have certain shelf life. Then we can also look at that information, because it's really important, at least in the food and beverage industry, that the products do have shelf life, and beyond which we might not be able to use those products. And then that would translate to a lot of inventory related strategies, because I need to be very cautious while managing my inventory basis the shelf life that I can afford. So I'm going to save this file, and I've just saved this file, and all I'm going to do is just click on the import parameters, and automatically my import over here has been successful. It's automatically imported the products, and now I do not have any stock out for this time. So it's really easy, and it's a very powerful system to not only make changes but also make a record of it, and be very flexible in terms of the kind of options that I can play with for my supply planning. The features are not just limited to say these particular months. Say for example, I want to have a um, rep, ordering cycle of 3 months, 4 months. It's very easy, as you can see over here. I can have it lead time based ordering cycle where basis my lead time. In this case it's 30 days, but say I can change my lead times, and basis the lead time I can have my strategy defined, so that I maintain the right amount of inventory which is very necessary for my planning, and I do not exceed or do not go out of stock for those particular items. And it's going to give me an alert, and the alerts could be in the form of, say, the red and the green color icon that you see over here. The alerts can also come in the form that, let me just delete this, and just a second. So we can also, yeah, I've enabled the inter-store optimization over here. Say I'm going to reduce the stock for this location. That, let me go over here. I'm going to say instead of 393, I'm going to keep it as 105 units of stock. And when I go over here, yeah, over here, so I have a requirement. Say in this particular item, I have a requirement, and I'm also going to change my safety stock over here. So I'm going to have my safety stock basis my service level, so that it kind of reduces. And now if I go to the overstocking or say interstore optimization, so this is really a very good feature of Streamline, where we can not only balance the inventory by the use of stocking strategy, but we can also balance the strategy, balance our stock from one location which is carrying very excess stock to a location which is going to go out of stock. So we can define the parameters over here, that from which location can I shuffle the product from. In this case, it's telling me that for this product, which is pharmacies, this product, which is a cold and flu tablet, we can say we have a current on-hand stock of 65. We have a requirement of 19 units extra, which is required. So I can say ship those 19 units from this location, which is east. So it's telling me that from east I can get the product back. So I have an excess of 52 units over here. It's telling me the stock out for each location and the overstock for each location. So I can use this information for balancing out my excess and short of inventory very quickly. So that's also very useful feature, that I'm not figuring out that information, and I'm not sitting on excess stock and while ordering for a location where there's a really requirement. So I can easily shuffle the products from one location to another location if we need to. So once we have all this information, and it's quite comprehensive information, so I'll quickly go into more details of what are other parameters that are available. So say, for example, we can have the supplier minimum quantity over here, or supplier, if we have the products on weight basis, then we can have the weight as one of the parameter. We can have cost, volume, quantity for my containers, and we can also have, say, my other information, like do we want to have certain display quantity, uh, that's very good information that we would want to have. We can also monitor our KPIs. So what is my DC fill rate? What is my days of supply? What is my gross margin? What's my turn on index? What's my stock out or overstock? And all the information I can just get it with a click of button. And once say we have this information, you can see something called as gross margin over here. So it's the gross margin for these product line basis our inventory values. So that's really critical. I can look at my inventory projections, and I can then figure out that if this is my cost of inventory, if this is my value of inventory, and if the cost of carrying inventory is, I can determine the cost of carrying inventory, the inventory carrying cost. So I can say increase or decrease it, and it will reduce from my margin, which indicates that I'm actually looking at the right gross margin. This is after I have considered my inventory carrying cost in my planning. So that's really a powerful information that I, as a planner, I as a a decision maker for my supply planning process, would have with me to be able to take the right decision. Um, and it's really important that we make use of these information, especially the service level. The service level for my safety stock. This is really a wonderful information that I have over here, along with my say lead time, my minimum lot, maximum lot, rounding, and all that information. I can look at the quantity that now, after all the planning parameters, after considering all that, what would be my say uh, net order, or say my quantity that I need to order from my warehouse, in this case from my DC. This is the amount that I would be ordering from my DC for the different items. I can also look at my projections, that is my projected inventory levels, that for the month of December, this is my inventory level. But you can see, as we move along in time, the red color items which are over here are turning to green or turning to white, which indicates that I'll be balancing my inventory over a period of time. I'm not going to sit on overstock value, or and neither I'm going to carry too much stock. So my extra deep green, which is very high, stock that I would be carrying, would go down. In this case, from 171, it is going to say 93. It's maintaining in that order. So I'm reducing my excess inventory, as well as I'm reducing my deficient inventory. So I'm balancing my stocks quite nicely. And then we can move to the distribution center. Say over here, all the items that we had planned would be available over here, and I'm going to say, have my DC planning strategy the same way we had planned for my location. The same way we can have it for my DC as well. Over here, we can have, say, look at the DC on hand, and basis the requirement projections from my different locations, which are getting replenished from my DC. It's going to give me the information as to how much further do we need to order, not just for the current month, mind you, but it is also going to give me the information for my future time period as well, and I can quickly open that and tell the system that I want to look at the inventory DC ordering plan. So it's going to give me the information of my DC ordering plan. So for the current month, we are going to order 350. Then we are going to order 220, and so on and so forth for all the items. And this is going to be my expected overstock or expected stock out for the current month at the DC. However, the important thing to note over here is everything is remaining the same. The supply parameters are the same. The system, what it can additionally do, apart from just calculating my inventory requirement, it also gives me the information of planning the containers. So load balancing, load planning is also taken care of through the system. So I have created different containers, and I have told I've told the system that container one is the maximum load capacity is 300 units, 300 quantity, 300 units, and for container two it's 400. And I can then specify over here. I can say tell the system that I'm going to have I'm going to use container two as my uh, you know as my for this particular item, I'm going to use container two because it requires a special container. Um, so in that case, I have used two container, and container two has a capacity of 400 units. So 400 into 3 is 1200, and you would notice that for container two, the requirement for first product, it is 196 units, and for the second product, it is 4 units. So the total is going to be 1200. And similarly for container 2, which has a container load capacity of 300 and 300 over here, it's automatically clubbing it up and trying to determine it's also going to be 1200. So it's automatically the sum of these two, it's going to be 1200. So if I say just remove the container capacity, or if I'm going to add another, I'm going to create another container which would be say 3, and over here it's going to be the capacities of 1200. So I'm just going to do okay. And over here right now you can see the quantity is 36, but say I'm going to choose container 2, automatically it has changed to 48, and this one has changed to 4, and this one has changed to 48. So indicating that the sum still remains the same. If I select say container 3, the value becomes 0, because it's very huge number, and there's no other area where we are going to utilize this container. So if I select over here, then possibly we would be seeing a very high number, because it's now clubbing the two in a way that my container is fully filled, rather than it goes empty-handed. So it's really easy. You can see that it's not very tough to select these containers, and we can do it in mass. We can select a couple of items, and automatically my ordering plan or my ordering quantity would be changing accordingly. So that's honestly a very good feature that we have over here, that we can possibly make use of. We can then go to the report part. Say once our entire process is over, or say we are beginning the process, we can not only look at the various product by product line item, but we can also club together the information in the reports over here. So we have very comprehensive reports that we can see. So we have, say for example, my forecast, final forecast for the forward period. I can also look at my overrides. These are the items which have overridden, or my forecast error, in case I want to say look at my forecast error from different time periods. I can look at that. I can look at plan versus actual sales, so my performance, my achievement of different items. I can aggregate them. Imagine using the Excel kind of flexibility over here. I can club the products and look at a higher level. I can look at my ordering plan. I can look at my revenue. So all this information is quite easy to go through very quickly, but I'm going to focus on the most important part, which is my KPIs. Because I really need to focus on my KPI metrics. I want to be on top of it. So I'm going to look at, okay, for these different groups, what's my total inventory value? What's my days of supply? What's my expected overstock value? So it's not just giving me the unit number, but it is also giving me the value information. It's giving me what is my expected stock out value, what's my non-moving inventory, what's my turnover, what's my turns per year. In this case, it's 1.7. What's my days to sell, what's my gross margin a percentage, what's my turn on index, what's my, uh, in case that information is available, it will show me the annual gross profit as well. In this case, I can see my annual revenue, my revenue for next year, and in case of purchase value information is available, then that it would show my purchase value. And I can look at this information at any level I want. I can say group the information at not just a location level, but at location item level, or maybe at industry location level. Just by a click of button, all the information is available to me in the form of these reports over here. So this more or less covers the supply planning part. Since we have a few more minutes, I'll take you guys through the rest of the features that we have for Streamline, which is say managing managing multi-channel demand and inventory planning, which is really critical. That we might be having different channels from which we might be supplying the products. uh, Let me go over here. So we have, say, consumer goods, electronics, which are being sold in east and west region, but through different channels. However, we are not managing the inventory at the channel. We are managing the inventory at the locations over here. So we are forecasting the products at the channel level, but we are managing the inventory over here at the location level. So that's really critical that we make use of a system which gives us the information at the level that we desire. We can quickly, make changes to it. Do we want to look at channel first, channel item, and then location first, or do we want to look at channel, location, and item first? Or do we want to look at the location, item, and channel first, or do we want to go with this approach where we want to monitor the channel? And on top of it, we can classify the product into ABC as well, which is really powerful information. So system is automatically clubbing the product into A, B, and C category, and I can define my ABC, classification. Does it have to be based on revenue, or should it be based on units, or should be based on gross profit, or cost of goods sold? It depends on how do we want to say define the criteria over here for my ABC classification, and system is going to make use of it. It's really important that we do the ABC classification because it then we would be say monitoring those items which are very critical to my business rather than focusing on items which are not very critical to my business. I would really want to focus on something which impacts my business right now rather than a C class item. And we do know that C class, there's a huge list of items which are part of C class, but very less number of items which are A class. Let me focus on critical item first and then on the rest of the options over here. So we can say plan at multi-channel level. We can also plan at material. We can do material requirement planning where I can plan my RMs as well basis my finished goods. So we have say certain finished good over here. So I have certain product lines which are there, and this is my raw material list of raw material which is available. This is my bill of materials. So just to produce, say, let me open the bill of material over here at the entire bill. So it's telling me that to produce one raisins mix, I need zero point 0.4 units of, say, my raisins white and raisins black of this combination. So we can have that, or we can tell the system that for muesli box with 25% gratis 625 gram for this particular product, I require 250 units of rolled oats, 63 units of toasted wheat germ, and all the information. So we can upload the bill of material over here, and system is going to use this information. So whatever projections that we see, the ordering plan that we see, so basis this ordering plan, system is going to determine how much inventory am I carrying for my raw material, and basis the projection of my finished good, what should be my projection of my raw material, what should be my ordering plan for my raw material. I can similarly have my lead time specified. Maybe for my raw material I might have a different lead time. My lead times could be higher depending on whether the product is imported or it's locally procured. There are a whole lot of combinations which are available for us to make use of from the system over here, and it's really important that we have one system where we have an end-to-end integration, right from my demand plan, moving to my supply plan, moving to my raw material planning, and my KPI and my reporting. When everything is on one platform, it allows me to look at all the necessary information, keep track of all the alerts, keep track of my stock outs, and keep my planning process very agile, which is the key of R at this point of time over here. So I, so we have covered, say, the multi-echelon planning. We have covered the multi-channel planning. We have covered definitely the demand and revenue forecasting. Let me just go and check whether we missed any of the feature. Yes, I've shown the forward order plan as well. So that is maybe if you have not noticed, I can possibly touch upon that once again. So let me just take this particular example, and we can quickly tell the system that show my ordering plan. So I will get to know my order plan for my next full 12 periods. And I can specify in the system whether I want to have the inventory planning for 10 months for my or my my entire planning, not just for inventory planning, but my say my demand planning or my supply planning. We want to have it for just the 10 months, 12 months, 24 months. I can specify that, and it's very easy to do it in the system over here. We can also say look at yeah, there is this particular new item. Since we have some more time left, I'm quickly touching upon at a high level the other features which are there in Streamline system. But in case if you guys have any questions, then feel free to let me know the questions. I would be happy to answer them over here. So for example, we can in this case, there is an existing product which is in sale for quite a long time now. And then there is a new product which we have introduced. So I'm just going to remove the model from over here. So there's this new product which is in sale for just for a few months, and we see a very flat projections for the forward period over here. How do we plan in such cases? So what we can do, we can just copy the item from an copy in the history and the sales projection from an existing item and apply it to the new product. And we can just apply it quickly over here. We can substitute it, and we can have the multiplier set in place to determine the exact forecast value which is necessary. So that's really important. We can also make a note of it that I'm going to add a note that uh, the projections are taken from an existing item, which is so this would help me keep a note of it, and there's a bubble that would appear over here, where I can keep the changes information, keep all my notes. And I can say in case when I move into the process and I figure out that as a planner, I assume that the forecast over here is doesn't look it needs more attention, then I can use this feature and specify this particular item as it needs more attention. So there's a caution mark that would come up over here, and any user who would be accessing the system, it would be available to them. Or I can just approve it. That means it would not change further. So I cannot make any modifications once I have approved the forecast for this particular item. And there's a tick mark that has come up over here. So that way it's very interesting to make changes in the system. I can make change to my revenue numbers. Say, for example, we are going to keep a different price for the current month, but for next month, I'm going to have the same price. So automatically everything is changing just by a click of button. The revenue information is automatically changing the moment I make a change to my price. There are a lot of other information as well. For example, if we want to say have the if you want to say check whether there was any there's a particular calendar that we want to follow for our material procurement. Are there any holidays? Is it available to supply or not? That can be specified over here. We can also then take all the planned orders. We can export that from the system, or then it can automatically be exported if it is integrated to your ERP. It will automatically be exported, and the orders would get you know executed from your ERP automatically. So I can either export these amounts to Excel, or I can also make a change to my ordering quantity directly over here. I can make a change to my quantity and just export the information from the system. So I hope I was able to possibly cover all the various scenarios. I'm sure I've just touched upon the features over here, but you know uh, the main idea was to just to showcase what are the options which are available for the planning process, for which we can possibly adopt for our planning process to make our planning more much more robust. And in case you want to have further information, we would be happy to give you a detailed demo as well of the system uh, specific to your requirements. There's another important information that we would want to highlight, that we have a next round of session which we are keeping for the collaboration piece, where we can understand what are the various collaboration techniques which are available. How should we collaborate in the planning process? That will be taken up next week, same time, by our director at Anamind over here. So that's one more very interesting information that we will be sharing with all of you. We would also be taking another session on Friday. So one is on Thursday. The collaboration is on Thursday at 3 p.m. IST. The Vanguard system planning system information that we are keeping on Friday same time, so that you can come and visit for that demo as well. I hope I was able to give you the insight. Thank you so much for joining me here today. In case you have any questions, feel free to write me a note, or you can contact us over here. Yeah, so you can contact us at either at hello@anamind.com, or you can contact me directly at sheetal@anamind.com, or you can call us on these numbers and we would be happy to help you anytime. Okay, thank you so much everyone for joining me here today. It was lovely talking to you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.